There are 10 things I want to talk about that happened during the first round of the NFL draft. Now, before I do that, I got to tell you about my friends at Prize Picks. Springtime is here and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. Prize Picks is the best way to get real money action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports, combining your favorite players from baseball, basketball, hockey, esports, and much more. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks because Prize Picks puts their members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, let's dive into the draft. With the number one overall pick, the Tennessee Titans drafted quarterback Cam Ward. And in my opinion, awesome move. Couldn't feel better about it. He's easily the best quarterback in the draft. Is he the best player? Probably Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter is going to end up being the best player right now. Is he the most important, most impactful player? Yes. He's going to make a huge, massive difference to the Tennessee Titans organization. He's a franchise quarterback. I have been a massive, massive believer in this guy for years. There's receipts. You can go back and watch old videos. Going back to his first year at Washington State, I immediately was like, yo, this kid can play. He can make every throw. He can extend plays, get outside of the pocket. I have watched Cam Ward turn third and long into touchdowns. He's converted regularly fourth and long situations. Go watch the film at Washington State. It's unbelievable. He was really good last year at Miami. He was a game changer. He was the reason why they were as good as they were. Cam Ward is really talented. His playing style reminds me a lot of actually Patrick Mahomes, where he can make every throw, got a really strong arm. He's good off a platform. He can keep plays alive, make stuff outside the pocket happen. He's dangerous. And so to me, Tennessee got a franchise quarterback. It's an open and shut case. Really not a controversial pick to me. Super easy. Great pick. I love it. Now, when it came time for the second pick, things got interesting, and they got interesting really fast, like way crazier and different than I ever thought was going to happen early in this draft. The player I thought would go second basically did go second. And it was really Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. To me, it could have gone either way, but it wasn't the player that was a surprise. It was the team that shocked me. A trade happened. The Jaguars traded up to get a hybrid wide receiver / corner, Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. You can argue a once-in-a-generation player who plays offense and defense. There's just not really ever been a guy who does what he does at the level he does. Like I heard this comparison made recently. The Jets drafted Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner a couple of years ago. They basically got two players in one with Jacksonville drafting Travis Hunter. Now, Cleveland was supposed to draft number 2 overall, and Jacksonville wanted him so badly they traded up. Cleveland moved back 3 spots from 2nd to 5th, and they got the Jaguars. Cleveland got the Jaguars' 2nd-round pick this year, 36 overall, and they got the Jaguars' 1st-round pick for next year. They also swapped 4th-round picks, and Jacksonville got a 6th-round pick. The 4th-round picks and the 6th-round pick don't really matter to me. Really, what happened was Travis Hunter was traded for 2 first-round picks and a 2nd-round pick. And that's first of all, a great move by Cleveland. They ended up drafting a really good defensive tackle, Mason Graham, out of Michigan, 5th overall. Awesome pick. Go watch the Ohio State game against Michigan. Mason Graham made a huge difference. It's a big reason why they won that football game. But also, making this trade for Cleveland helps them build for their future. They're in a really bad situation. The Deshaun Watson contract is it's horrible. It's really crippling their franchise. And coming up, they're going to have two of the top 4 picks in the second round. They can get 2 probably quality players today in the draft, drafting in the second round. They've got 2 first-round picks next year in 2026. They are set up to build their organization and, frankly, rebuild their organization to recover from the Deshaun Watson contract. So I like what they're doing. They're going to get good young players on cheap rookie contracts in Cleveland. It's kind of a perfect salvo. It's exactly what the Cleveland Browns need to do at this juncture, at this point in their franchise. And they can still get a quarterback, by the way. In the second round, very well, they could draft Shedeur Sanders, for example, the first pick of the second round today on Friday. So, it would not be shocking to me if the Browns walk away with a great haul of good players and a quarterback. And again, 2 first-round picks for next year. They're in a really good spot as an organization. So the trade was great for Cleveland. For Jacksonville, it's more complicated. I would imagine a lot of people are saying they gave up too much to go get Travis Hunter. I actually don't end up feeling that way, but it's for a different reason. Do I think they gave up a lot for Travis Hunter? Yeah, absolutely. Is he worth that if you're trying to win a Super Bowl? Probably not. You probably gave up more than you should have. I don't love this move, Jacksonville trading, again, basically 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for a wide receiver being drafted number 2 overall. But he's not just a wide receiver. And he's also not just a corner, and he's also not just both. He's also a star in the making. And what I mean by that is Jacksonville is a team in a small market that, honestly, from a national perspective, the Jacksonville Jaguars are irrelevant. Nobody cares about them. And I'm not saying you should make decisions based on money and stardom and basically grabbing interest nationally. But Travis Hunter is a player like no other. He plays offense, he plays defense. He's probably the best receiver in the draft. He's probably also the best corner in the draft. That's crazy. That doesn't happen. And he's going to play both sides of the field. So they gave up a lot, but they got a lot. They got a guy who's worth a lot. And not just in football terms, but in attention and eyeballs and season tickets and interest and people wanting to watch and pay attention to the Jaguars, right or wrong, football aside, this is a smart business move for the Jaguars. It's going to help their organization gather interest. From a football perspective, first of all, they got another young receiver to help their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. So last year, the Jaguars had the best rookie receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. Now they've got, on the other side of the field, another good young receiver, Travis Hunter. So that helps their offense a lot. Their young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, 2 awesome young receivers. It's very possible the Jaguars drafted the best receiver last year and again the best receiver this year. That you keep stacking good receiver draft picks, it's not going to hurt your offense. That's for sure. He's going to get reps at corner. I think Travis Hunter is going to contribute more than most players in the draft just by sheer volume of snaps he's going to play, ways he's going to contribute to your team on offense and defense. I don't hate this move from a football perspective or from a business perspective. I think it's more of a business move than a football move. But again, bringing eyeballs, getting attention, selling tickets. I live in Portland, Oregon. We have an NBA team here. No one cares about the Portland Trailblazers because they're in a small market. They're not nationally relevant. The Jaguars are kind of in a similar position. They got to make a lot of noise to gather and grab attention. Travis Hunter helps them do that. Should you build a Super Bowl winning team overpaying for stars? Probably not. They gave up a lot, but I get it. I get it where the Jaguars are. They got a good young receiver, a player who can play offense and defense. And I think Travis Hunter is going to be the talk of football. We've not seen a player like him. Look what Shohei Ohtani did to baseball. He made me, a football guy, pay attention to baseball. When Shohei Ohtani does something, I go, oh. And I think Travis Hunter could have a similar effect on the game of football where he's just doing things we've never seen before and grabbing attention that way. So I don't hate the draft pick from the Jaguars as much as a lot of people probably do. And again, they might have got the best receiver in the draft 2 years in a row. It's hard to argue that's a bad thing for the Jaguars organization, even though, do I love drafting a receiver number 2 overall? Has that historically been a great time to draft a receiver? No. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Good luck to the Jaguars. He's a once-in-a-generation, once-in-a-lifetime player. Elba goes really well for him. So the top 3 players I predicted would go 1 through 3, did go 1 through 3. 1, 2, and 3. Travis Hunter was 2. Abdul Carter was 3. I got that wrong, I guess, but I knew it was going to be Cam Ward and then some mix of Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. That's exactly what happened. So let's acknowledge that number 3 overall, the Giants drafted a pass rusher, Abdul Carter, out of Penn State. Awesome move. I expect him to be really good. I'm not alone in that. Most people assume, hey, this is a really good pass rusher in the making. And it's going to help the Giants' defensive line tremendously. I think the way to build a team right now in football, get a quarterback and get guys who go after the quarterback. The Giants did both in this draft. They got Abdul Carter, a defensive pass rusher who's going to make opposing quarterbacks have a bad day. And they also, we'll talk about a second, traded up for a young quarterback, Jackson Dart. I expected the pick, number 3 overall. The minute Travis Hunter got drafted, I go, okay, the Giants are drafting Abdul Carter. The question was, will they trade back into the first round and go get a quarterback? Yes, they did exactly that. They traded up with Houston for the 25th overall pick. The Giants moved back into the first round and drafted Jackson Dart, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. And I absolutely love this move. Jackson Dart is not Josh Allen, right? You'll hear a lot of comparisons, but he's not far off from his style, from his ability. And Brian Daboll, the Giants head coach, worked with Josh Allen, developed him into what he is today. Jackson Dart as a quarterback is a perfect fit under their offensive head coach, Brian Daboll. And what's nice is there's no hurry for Jackson Dart to get onto the field. They've got Russell Wilson. They've got Jameis Winston. Jackson Dart can sit and learn and prepare and wait until he's ready. And to be very clear, there's a lot of talk, Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart is a much better fit with the Giants, with Brian Daboll, what they're trying to do. And given that the Giants are a team that plays in cold weather, Jackson Dart, who's got a bigger frame, bigger arm, better athlete, he's a better fit for the Giants. He's going to be more capable of running an offense similar to what Josh Allen did in Buffalo with Brian Daboll, where he can run the ball a little bit. He can extend the play. He can get yards in short yardage situations. Shedeur Sanders was not a good fit for the Giants. Cold weather, he's got a weaker arm, less of an athlete, smaller frame. I just don't think he was going to fit very well with Brian Daboll. And even if Brian Daboll gets fired, you want a bigger quarterback with a stronger arm to play football in the weather in New York City. Shedeur wasn't a great fit there. Jackson Dart's a better fit to me. And I really like this pick, Jackson Dart, for the Giants. They got 2 big pieces, man. Abdul Carter, a pass rusher, who I think is going to be if not a great player, a star in the NFL. Abdul Carter, awesome pass rusher for the Giants. And they got a new quarterback, Jackson Dart. Honestly, like A+ rating, in my opinion, for the Giants. You make fun of them. You make fun of their GM looked really bad getting ready to Saquon Barkley. That whole, Hard Knocks video. It's bad. I don't hate Joe Shane. I think he does a lot of stuff I respect, even if the Saquon Barkley move didn't work out. Sometimes you get caught with your pants down and it looks bad. I really like the draft so far for the New York Giants. We'll see how the rest of it goes, but their first 2 picks, number 3 overall, Abdul Carter, number 25 overall, Jackson Dart. Round of applause, A+ rating from me, Zach Schambler. Now, New England drafted 4th overall, made kind of a boring pick, but a responsible one. They drafted an offensive tackle, Will Campbell, out of LSU. I've heard a lot of talk. Is he a bit of an overdraft? Like, is he really worth a 4th overall pick? I don't know. It's a weird draft. There's not a lot of talent. He's the 4th, player you drafted, but you got an offensive tackle you like. Boring, not a flashy pick. But it helps protect their young quarterback, Drake May. And so I like to move from a philosophy standpoint. You're helping your young quarterback. You're protecting Drake May. That's never a bad thing. That's hard to talk badly about. It's probably the least sexy draft pick in the top 10. And hopefully it makes Drake May's life better. No problem with the Patriots did number 4 overall. I know they wanted one of either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. They couldn't get him. I don't think anyone wanted to trade up to 4th overall. They got an offensive tackle. The sky is not falling in New England. That's a boring pick, but a responsible one. We already talked about what the Browns did. They drafted Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, number 5 overall. Number 6 overall, the Raiders drafted running back Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. I like it a lot. My biggest fear for Ashton Jeanty was he was going to go to a team that wasn't ready to use him, honestly. Like, we saw Saquon Barkley go to the Giants, for example, a couple years ago. With the bad offensive line, Saquon Barkley was not the same as he was last year in Philly. The Raiders, I think, can use him. I think he makes their offense immediately better. He helps Geno Smith, their quarterback. He gives them a improved running game. I thought that if there was a place Ashton Jeanty could go in the top 10, other than Chicago, this was the best possible landing spot. I really like it. It's a good move. The Raiders are committing to running the football. They got Chip Kelly. They got Pete Carroll. They got Geno Smith. Now they got a running back they like who's going to get a ton of carries and be their feature back. I heard a lot of talk about Ashton Jeanty in the draft. He's 5'8". Oh no. I don't. I think 5'8" is a perfect height for a running back. I don't care at all. I like the pick. We'll see how it works out, but I don't hate at all the Raiders drafting Ashton Jeanty number 6 overall. Now, when it came to New Orleans drafting number 9 overall, I thought maybe they were going to draft Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado. Seemed like a perfect fit for him. They play in warmer weather. They play in a dome. They got a new offensive head coach. Derek Carr seems to want out. I thought for sure, number 9 overall, we're probably going to see the New Orleans Saints draft Shedeur Sanders. And they did not. They drafted an offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. That was a statement. That was a moment. I can't really tell. Was it a commitment to Derek Carr, or was it a lack of endorsement for Shedeur Sanders? Was it them saying, we don't think Shedeur is worth the number 9 pick, or was it them saying, we love Derek Carr? Either way, it was very noteworthy. Drafting an offensive tackle, getting a need they have. They had a chance to replace Derek Carr, and the New Orleans Saints did not do that. That stood out a lot to me. So the draft, a lot of picks happened then, and we'll talk. Sure, there's time to talk about it. Like Emeka Egbuka, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting him was pretty cool. I like Seattle getting an offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. But to me, pick 21 was the pick I was zeroed in on waiting for. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the team in the draft that needed a quarterback more than any other team in the draft, in my opinion. I thought for sure, pick 21 comes, Shedeur Sanders is there. They're going to take him. Mike Tomlin, Shedeur Sanders, it's a good fit. I think they'd work well together. And I waited, and they did not draft a quarterback. And I was stunned. Honestly, I was like, wow, if there's ever a commitment to Aaron Rodgers, that's it right there. That's weird to me. They took a defensive tackle, Derek Harmon, out of Oregon. Very interesting. To me, Pittsburgh is the team more than any other team in the draft that needs a quarterback. And then consider this, what might very well happen now is that the Cleveland Browns are going to draft Shedeur Sanders. So now Cleveland's going to go from having a chance to have him to probably playing him twice a year. They must not be afraid of him at all. They must not want, clearly they don't want him, but I was surprised the Steelers did not draft Shedeur Sanders when given the opportunity. They passed on him, and now they might play him twice a year. I don't know if that's going to work in their favor or not. It was definitely noteworthy. It was like, oh, wow, that's a strong... The defensive tackle maybe works out well for them. A quarterback and a defensive tackle are not equivalent. Like, Derek Brown's an awesome defensive tackle in Carolina. Didn't matter that Carolina had him, right? They needed a quarterback. They drafted Bryce Young. They had Derek Brown before Bryce Young. It made no impact. Didn't help them win games. The defensive tackle is not going to help you win or lose games next year. A quarterback would make that difference. Fascinating to me. The Steelers did not want to draft him. Shedeur Sanders did not get drafted at all in the first round. I saw Cam Ward go number 1 overall, and Jackson Dart go number 25 overall. Shedeur Sanders fell out of the first round. And a big question I asked a couple of weeks ago is, what does the NFL think of Shedeur Sanders, and how do they view him? I think we got our answer. It's very clear. There were multiple chances for teams to draft Shedeur. They did not. He was passed up. And Pittsburgh drafting a defensive tackle out of Oregon was diabolical. I was like, oh, wow. That felt like a kind of a jab, actually. Like, hey, we really don't want you. Weird to me. I was surprised. And I think what happened here is the arm strength is a real concern for Shedeur Sanders. Him in Pittsburgh, probably not a great fit. He's got a I don't want to say a noodle for an arm, but he's just even in college, the ball died on him a lot. There's not a lot of velocity behind his arm. He's basically Teddy Bridgewater from a physical perspective. He's a smaller, slighter guy who has a weaker arm, and I think it makes people gun shy. I think Shedeur Sanders can work as an NFL starter. I really do. I think he's got a really high level ability to process the game. His arm strength, not great, right? I think a team like New Orleans, where they play in warm weather and inside a dome, perfect for him. We will see what happens to him. I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to get drafted early in the second round, very likely the first pick of the second round by Cleveland. So we'll see what happens. I'm a fan of the guy. I don't know that he fits great in cold weather, though, given his arm strength. Keep your eye on Tyler Shuck, though, quarterback out of Louisville. Maybe that's who Pittsburgh has their eye on. The more I watch film of Tyler Shuck, I go, this guy can move, got a great arm. He developed a ton in college. He was there for 7 years and really polished his game up. Throws a beautiful ball. He might be, is he the best, does he have the best arm? Like, is Tyler Shuck the guy who's most enjoyable to watch throw the football in the draft? Very possibly. Like, I think he throws a great deep ball. He might fit really well in Pittsburgh. Maybe that's who they're eyeing. I don't know. I think Tyler Shuck out of Louisville is a very underrated, if not the most underrated quarterback in this draft, like by a lot. Like, he might be a franchise quarterback that just slides under the radar to the third round. So keep your eye on Tyler Shuck, what happens with him. But it was very, very notable that Shedeur Sanders did not get drafted, especially when given multiple opportunities by teams in the first round who just were like, nope, we don't. They made a statement. They don't believe in him. They don't want him. Certainly not at the price of a first-round pick. Number 10 overall, Chicago drafted tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan. I love this move. This is an awesome tight end, guy who can block, who can run routes like a receiver. And it just makes me look at Chicago and go, man, they've improved so much. New head coach, young quarterback, a lot of weapons. They've got two stud tight ends, Cole Kmet and now Colston Loveland. They've got DJ Moore at receiver. We'll see how Roma Dunze does going into year 2 at receiver. They've got a much improved offensive line. They've got DeAndre Swift at running back. Chicago went 5-12 last year. They won 5 games last year. I think they could win like 10 this year. For real, I think the upgrade in organizational structure, on the roster, everywhere. Chicago is a night and day much, much better team today than they were this time last year. I'd like to see them draft, a number 2 running back, like a 1-2 punch to DeAndre Swift, maybe Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State, something like that. Get him another running back to be the 1-2 punch for the Bears running game. But man, I really love where Chicago's at. They've really improved their team this offseason, and Colston Loveland was kind of the rich get richer moment. We're like, whoa, they already got a couple tight ends at Durham Smythe, another tight end I like. They got 3 tight ends, I think, that are pretty good in Chicago, and it's really going to help their young quarterback, Caleb Williams. Now, 14th overall, Indy drafted the most Colts pick they could have possibly made. They got a player I absolutely love in this draft class, tight end Tyler Warren. Perfect pick because he's a safe pick. I said this the other day. I think if there's one player I am most certain is not going to fail, I don't know that he's like a Hall of Famer. He's definitely a starter for like 5 to 10 years in the NFL. Tyler Warren is an awesome, awesome tight end. I love this guy. You can move him all over the field. He can run. He can throw, actually. Like, he can do everything. And at times, he was the entire offense at Penn State last year. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff Shane Steichen and the Colts offense scheme up to use Tyler Warren, but he's a great tight end. Could not feel more confident about him. Kind of reminds me of when they drafted that guard Quentin Nelson a couple of years ago. We were like, this guy is kind of boring, really safe, really. It's like drafting Quentin Nelson all over again. It's a really safe pick. They're like, this guy for sure is going to be a really good starter. It's going to make a difference and work out well for them. I love it. I think it's awesome. And Tyler Warren going to the Colts is a pick I could not feel better about at all. Now, I got a couple honorable mentions I want to make, but before I do that, I want to tell you about my friends at Game Time. There is nothing like going to a game, whether that's playoff basketball or being outside with a hot dog and a good drink, watching baseball. Let Game Time take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time has last minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and all types of events you could possibly imagine getting tickets to. They have zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats for you. They also have all-in pricing, which is a feature that makes sure there are no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and Game Time has a lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And on top of all that, Game Time has ticket coverage where your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with the code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. All right, a couple more noteworthy picks. We'll call them honorable mentions. I mentioned my 10. I thought it was really interesting to see Denver pass on a running back in the first round. I think philosophically it makes a lot of sense because Denver can get a really quality contributing running back in the second or third round, in my opinion, like pretty comfortably. With the 20th pick, Denver drafted Jahdae Barron, a corner out of Texas. Kind of came out of nowhere. It surprised me. He is probably the second best, if not the best corner in the draft. So I think a really good secondary in Denver gets a little better. It's a luxury move. You're like, whoa, nice. Okay. They probably, for them, drafted the best player available. Works out great for Denver. The result of that, though, I was pretty confident they were going to draft a running back there. Them not drafting a running back there results in 2 picks later, their division rival, the LA Chargers, getting a running back, Amarian Hampton out of North Carolina. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers drafting a running back, number 22 overall, is totally on brand for them. They've got a run-focused philosophy as a team. They've now got a 1-2 punch that's awesome. Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. I like it. I think it's really interesting. I think Najee Harris is going to be better than people realize this year, and now they got another running back, and it's like, wow, okay. The Chargers are going to run the football really well, be efficient with Herbert, and it's to be expected. Harbaugh investing in the running game. Shocker there. Number 23 overall, Green Bay drafted wide receiver Matthew Golden out of Texas. This is only noteworthy because for the longest time during the Aaron Rodgers era, the longtime complaint was the Packers refused to draft him a wide receiver in the first round. Well, for the first time in 23 years since 2002, the Packers have drafted a wide receiver in the first round. Again, Matthew Golden out of Texas. Something that never happened in the Aaron Rodgers era is given another way that Jordan Love has been better taken care of than Aaron Rodgers. Good for him. And then finally, I thought this is a quiet move. I thought it was kind of a steal. It was, again, just a nice little, that's a good move. I thought the Ravens getting Georgia safety Malachi Starks, number 27 overall, was a quiet, under the radar, really solid move for them, improving their defense a little bit, getting them a quality starter. I like Malachi Starks. Maybe I'm alone in that, but I'm like, that's awesome. Good for them. Of course, a team like the Ravens finds a way to get a pretty good player under the radar at the end of the first round. So round 2 is today, Friday. And the focus, I hope you're prepared for it. It's going to be all about Shedeur Sanders. The coverage, the talk today, everything is going to be about Shedeur. Brace yourself for that. Big question for me. I consider myself a Steelers fan. When is my team going to draft a quarterback? Do they have any urgency? I don't know why. It seems like they don't. They definitely should. If your plan is Aaron Rodgers this year, all right. I don't want that at all. Not as like the only option right now. The only the only quarterback on the roster in Pittsburgh is Mason Rudolph. Like that's where we're at as a Steelers organization. I don't know what they're doing. I hope they get a quarterback today in day 2 of the draft. If they don't, I'm going to be baffled. I really am. I don't, good luck, man. Good luck to the Steelers. I guess they don't value quarterback play, I guess. I don't know. Passing on Shedeur was surprising to me. And we'll see what happens there. But again, I don't know if he's the best fit in cold weather in Pittsburgh. I thought he was a great fit under Mike Tomlin. And now he's going to go to a division rival, almost certainly the Cleveland Browns. So Pittsburgh, get it together. What are you doing? Let's please, I'm begging you. Can we get a quarterback figured out? It's a defensive tackle is not going to win you games next year. A quarterback just might. That's all I got. I'll talk to you after today, the second day of the draft. It should be fun. Keep your eye on Tyler Shuck. That's a name that I'm fascinated with. And I really, the more I watch him out of Louisville, that film, the more and more I like him.